Hi, today's good person to know is Brent Hoberman, CBE. He's co-founder for lastminute.com, made.com and Founders Factory. Brent is a person you refer to as an early adopter. Way back in the 1990s, he had a killer idea, but he shelved it because it wasn't the right time, so he went to get experience instead. 2 years later, together with a co-founder, they set up lastminute.com in just 3 months from writing the business plan to securing funding, and that's because they gained credibility. They eventually sold the company for $1.2 billion. And Brent did what most people do. He bought a house. But he quickly realised that the furniture industry needed transforming, so he set up mydeco.com, which later became made.com, which he co-founded with a person in France. Brent is more than an entrepreneur. He sits on numerous boards and he's an investor. So if you've got a killer idea and looking for assistance, also just what to do or how to do it, this is the perfect video for you. So I hope you enjoy it and thank you for watching.
First thing is sort of where did the idea come from? And that was partly forcing myself to have an idea in the internet sector. It was back in '96, the internet was pretty early. I fell in love with it as a consultant. I was observing it and thinking, wow, this has got to be huge. Obviously all the stuff is pretty obvious now, but actually, believe it or not, back in '96, a lot of people didn't think it was going to be that important. But I'm an early adopter for technology. I can only see at '96 or imagine I could only buy books on Amazon. And it was only, at that point, it was only actually Amazon US that was launched. I literally thought I would do everything at the last minute and thought about going away, going out, staying in, and I thought that the internet was the perfect medium. I wrote down the idea with a friend and wrote down some pages about it and then put it in a drawer. Probably the smartest thing I did actually was not do it then. Because in '96, it was too early, very narrow band internet, there weren't enough people on the web, e-commerce wasn't big enough, and lastminute.com obviously wasn't trying to be the whole of travel, it was trying to be a subset of your leisure time. I actually didn't think I was ready. I'd only ever managed 3 people, or 2 as a consultant. I didn't really understand very much about the internet. I actually thought, well, what I better do is go and work in the internet. I left my job and I went to working for BT and News Corp. It meant I could call anyone. I could call the big company from America and say, the big internet players at the time, and say, you know, do you want to come and talk to me? I'm BT News Corp. And actually invariably they would. A little bit 6 months there, then I actually met a guy called Tim Jackson. It was just him at the time. And he was just pitching at what's called a red herring event, a business called QXL. Or why didn't I actually just join him? So I joined him in launching what was one of the first, probably maybe the first online auction company in the UK. Fortunately, it was just me and him at the beginning, but fortunately after 4 months, I went back to that idea. So I wrote the business plan. I then asked a friend to do it with me. He didn't want to do it, he was making too much money as a banker. And then I asked another friend who was Martha Lane Fox, if she'd do it with me, and together the 2 of us wrote the business plan in about 6 weeks, and we raised money in about another 6 weeks. The most important thing is credibility. So how did we establish credibility? I think one is we were in love with the idea. Both of us were incredibly enthusiastic about it. I think we passed the 11th employee test. So what's the 11th employee you hire going to be like is what I think that one of the best venture capitalists are thinking in their mind when they're meeting you. And what that means is, what's the layer below the layer you hire going to look like? I think that if you really want to be big and bold, you have to prepare to fail, and that means your idea is so original that you don't know if it's going to work. But if you're a good entrepreneur, you are blinded by optimism. Why we were able to do this is because we didn't know how hard it was. We were very naive, and we didn't know enough about the travel sector, which is obviously the biggest part of what we did. That I think if you know too much, you can't really disrupt an industry. In '98, we raised £600,000 for that first moment. We established credibility also by getting people like Peter Bow, who was the former chairman of KLM, onto our board when we were 10 people. We got companies like Deutsche Telekom and France Telecom to invest in our very first round. We then had a host of other blue chip name investors. We raised, well, in the end, over £200 million. We sold the company for $1.1 billion. We went public the day the stock market peaked on March 2000. We went public in 18 months after launch, faster than any other company in Europe had ever gone public. We raised the price through Chutzpah, by more than anyone had ever done on a roadshow. We did the roadshow in less time than anyone had ever done. I think it was 10 days, because we felt the timing was very right. And then the stock price went down, I think, 95%. The exciting part is we rode that journey back and ended up with a business that was doing over $2 billion worth of gross transaction value. Decent exit out of it over 10 years ago. I bought a house after I sold lastminute.com, and I thought, God, this market is really broken. I couldn't visualize anything. I didn't understand why, having seen all the price transparency in the travel sector, why this sofa would cost £500 and another one would cost £5,000. So I went to create something called mydeco.com that was probably, with hindsight, too ambitious. I was just chairman at this stage. I did realize that I didn't think I was right to be CEO, because the other thing you have to be a CEO of one of these companies is absolutely obsessive, slightly unhinged, unbalanced. And at this point, I've become a bit too balanced. The timing was perfect, 2007-08, to launch online furniture, when again you had all these skeptics saying, it'll never work, people will never buy furniture online. We tried to do too much, I think. But anyway, I did have the foresight to then launch Made.com. It was a 50-50 JV with mydeco and a entrepreneur, a Chinese Frenchified entrepreneur called Ning Li. So I met him, found him, and said, let's do this business together in the UK. It is going furniture direct from factory to customer, cutting out wholesalers, retailers, and wastage, saving customers a ton of money with beautifully designed furniture. I'm on lots of large boards. The main thing I'm doing now actually is, apart from investing in startups, so you can reach me if you're interested in that, but particularly Founders Factory. That is corporate-backed incubation and acceleration. So we've got education backed by Macmillan Holdspring, so education technology businesses. We will incubate businesses and accelerate. And then we're going across certain sectors. We'll soon announce our publisher partner, so we'll do a media sector with a big media corporate, and then we'll go across beauty and wellness, fintech, retail, etc., etc. 6 sectors. The most ambitious incubator accelerator, I think, in Europe.
After the talk, Brent was just so generous with his time. It was so clear that he wants anyone with an entrepreneurial spirit to just go for it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to see more, and thank you for watching.